be a video played that was prepared by Dr. Ishikita, and then we'll have a live Q&A. So, Dr. Ishikita, if you could just start your camera to show everyone before we play the video where you are. So, as I introduced you before, Dr. Ishikita has many hats. Medical doctor, researcher, inventor, educator. So he's now joining us live from his laboratory, which is a really cool setting that many of you already pointed out in the chat. So what we'll do now is that we'll go straight with the video. So you can see Dr. Ishikita's presentation, and then we'll have live Q&A. Same as before, you can ask your question in the Q&A function or by raising your hand, and you will be pulled up on stage. Thank you very much, and if my colleagues can send the video now.
Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Naoyuki Ishikita, inventor of VAPE project. It's an honor to speak here today, and I'd like to thank Florence and Takuma for arranging this online lecture. I hope everyone enjoyed it. Due to the coronavirus pandemic, a shortage of ventilators has been experienced across the globe. Demand has far exceeded supply by traditional manufacturing and distribution methods. The potential for producing ventilators by 3D printing has become apparent. The roots of our technology date back to 2011. From this time, we have been developing technology to enable the 3D printing of inhalation anesthesia device, VAPE project, in space. The most important thing to do safely in space travel is to protect human life. To protect human life, we need medical treatment. However, there is still no anesthesia machine in space. Imagine a future manned mission to Mars. We cannot return to the Earth, even if get a serious injury or illness. So I believed anesthesia is absolutely necessary for future space missions. The most used anesthetic in the medical field is the intravenous anesthetic method. The simplest anesthetic method in space so far has been believed to be IV, but actually it's not. The IV is not only painful when stabbing a needle, but also have overdose risk because it cannot take medicine out from the body. Intravenous anesthesia may be more difficult to control the side effects such as bradycardia and blood pressure fluctuation than on the ground. In order to suppress side effects, we have to mix another medicine. That's why it was difficult to use in space. On the other hand, the inhalation anesthesia method, it can be administered without pain and safe because it can be controlled by respiration. And more, it is well known that it is the strongest drug for asthma, seizure, and depression. It is clear that the inhalation method is extremely valuable and superior to the IV in the space mission. However, there were reasons we could not use inhalation anesthetic in space, because it was too heavy to bring it in space, difficult to operate for non-medical professionals. In addition, a gas piping system was needed. Ideal anesthesia machine in space should be compact, easy to operate, and recyclable. We invented a simple device which, by fitting to conventional back valve mask, allows the addition of three key functions of general inhaled anesthesia systems: vaporization of anesthetic, automatic ventilation, and removal of anesthetic gas. After 2 years of development with Newton, the VAPE project was born. The VAPE project is easy to use. Just open it, assemble, and go. Our research has advanced further. It is now possible to transfer by data which is attached to email. In 2017, we successfully transmitted data to produce a ventilator in the International Space Station. By downloading our data, a ventilator can be manufactured anywhere in the world with a 3D printer. This was a technological breakthrough. This is a 3D printed Vaporjet. It's called 3D Vaporjet. This was the story before Corona pandemic. Our technology is 7 years ahead. Alternative technologies require a manual ventilation bag and associated electronic parts. Consists of 4-part pressure adjusting handle, body, spiral spring, and valve. All 4 parts can be manufactured with ABS resin, a 3D printer, and internet access. After production, the power source is pneumatic. A simple foot pump, air compressor, or oxygen cylinder is sufficient to operate our ventilator. Let me show you how it works. By installing this valve, the valve pops up automatically and the inspiration and expiration switch. It will not stop even if it is tilted in any direction. If you want to raise pressure temporarily, you can close the hole with your finger. You can also adjust the pressure with the upper adjusting handle. After the onset of the Corona pandemic, I was approached by a co-researcher in the space project, French Dr. Jeremy Saget. He suggested that data transfer by our method has the potential to save lives all over the world. So together we launched the COVID ventilator project. The key to the success of the project is to secure reliable local collaborators and 3D printers. 3D printers have existed for over 40 years. With so many models available, it was important to establish the 3D printable quality of our ventilator across the globe. First, we announced the purpose of the project, released short videos of modeling and operation tests on SNS, and solicited a global network of 3D print collaborators through the various media. A simple 3-step procedure was established. The procedure was as follows. 1. Download the mock-up data. 2. Use ABS resin to print the object. 3. Report the outcome to SNS with hashtag #COVIDVentilator. The quality of the 3D print object was verified visually by examining the shape and surface of the mock-up object posted on SNS. Thanks to the power of social media, within 10 days, we assembled 400 like-minded 3D printing professionals worldwide. 247 volunteers in remote locations accepted our data and produced mock-up ventilators with their 3D printers. Photograph image analysis verified 75% samples to be satisfactory for practical use. 2 cases of modification of our data were found, and 22 cases of modeling with non-designated resin were found, which may cause a serious accident, such as device malfunction or lung rupture. Here is the example using PLA resin for the spiral spring of the ventilator. PLA resin spring will be dead within 5 minutes by human breath, but it is extremely difficult to distinguish defective product in the medical field. So it is important not to mix them. If we establish a perfect quality control and manufacturing manual, the incidence of defective products may be reduced. Data disclosure and fraud prevention method are very important because it is easy to copy and modify design data, and it can be manufactured with a 3D printer by non-professionals. Ventilators are highly controlled medical devices, and regulatory approval applications in niche countries are necessary. Manufacturers are also required for approval. It costs a lot of money for those processes, and who will pay for that? Based on the trial, we decided a shift from free disclosure of our data to making money, making perfect rules, clearing license process, and spreading our product from Japan to the world. Thanks to the cooperation of many people all over the world, the COVID ventilator project has become a social movement. Nearly $100,000 was donated in about 2 months after the project was launched. Also, our project has been recognized by the Japanese government. Research funding has been granted under the Development Technology for Infectious Diseases project. At present, we are undertaking non-clinical trials for the certification of this technology. We have 2 types of technology under trial: 3D printable ventilators and plastic mold injection ventilators. Here is the 3D printing model. It has already passed 6,000-hour endurance test. The surface of the device is engraved with an assembly diagram, and a Y-shaped tube has been newly developed to prevent choking. Gross weight 75 gram. Modeling time 14 hours. Each of 3D printing model is recyclable. After use, just crush it and put it into the recycler and regenerate the filament as follows. If it can be recycled, various shapes can be made on demand, anytime, anywhere. And here is the plastic molding injection model. More precise breathing management than in the 3D printing model is possible. It is disposable and integrated with an artificial nose. The world's smallest and lightweight ventilator. Weight only 101 gram. We are working hard to achieve certification and deliver our easy-to-handle, compact, and low-cost ventilators to the world by the end of 2020. Your support will be a big help. Thank you.
Quentin-san. Still. Still not. Thank you for listening. So please ask me anything. Just I'm in my lab, so I can't show you how it works.
Okay, I refreshed my browser.
Oh, great.
Okay, thank you, if you can hear me now. So yes, what I was saying is that the first thing I wanted to ask you is, after this great video that was really well illustrated and helped people to understand, even people like me without any medical background, do you want to add a few things before we move to Q&A, or maybe show one if you have one somewhere around? So a few words you want to add to the video.
In this corona situation, everyone trying to build many projects to make the ventilator. But our project started more older. 7 years ago, I started. So originally we made anesthesia system, then just separate this ventilator part for the COVID-19 situation to help breathing for patient. And this was, I like it very much, but for the safety, we try to build increasing more safety. So this is the one. Very secured ventilator. It's a disposable ventilator. No need electricity. Only need airflow. Pneumatic ventilator. So now I'm in the lab and I have the electric compressor, so I can give the air from the air compressor like this. Or in the space, we don't have an electric compressor, so I recommend to use the foot pump for the camping equipment. Using the both foot and push to give the air to the ventilator, and ventilator will work very well. And our both hand will be free by pushing this blower by foot. So this is really useful. So I recommend to use with my ventilator.
Thank you very much. That's really nice to see it, like for real with you, to see the size and everything. So we have questions that start to appear. A lot of questions.
Yes.
So two questions are fairly similar. So how difficult is it to navigate the risk and liability aspects of the product when you decided to commercialize it? And did you receive any significant government support? And I will link it to another question on certification. So how complex is the certification process? And do you have to certify it in every country where it is used?
Yeah, right. Certification is really, really difficult. So in this situation, it's emergency. So many people asking me, just give me a data. We don't need any certification processes. But just for the safety, I think we need approval of each country's government. So this process is, I think it's hard, but if we take the Japanese government approval, just translated the document to another countries. So this is not so hard, but only we need the collecting money for the processes. And this time, Japanese government want to use our devices for the patients. So this process is more easier because of the government helping our project.
Talking about government help, could you give advice to other potential inventors in the room? How can you have your project tested in space? How does it work? How do you happen to print something in space?
Yeah, that was really lucky, just lucky, because when I invented my device, I thought this is I made it for the patient who have the seizure in front of me. But this is really, really small, so I believed it is useful in space mission. So I tried to ask to the astronaut in Japan to bring my device to space for the future space mission. But Japanese astronauts answered to me, it's hard to bring my device to space because it's not approved in Japanese government. So the project will be stopped. But at the same time, NASA launched the 3D printer in space. So I changed my mind. If I change the data for the 3D printable and send the data to the space, and astronaut make my device in space themselves. And I asked about that, my idea, and astronaut said, this is no problem. So the project was started to change this device design for the 3D printable design. So that was the technology breakthrough.
Sorry, yeah, that's really interesting, the fact that you're not allowed to send it to space, but if you print it directly there, it's fine. So very interesting. I'm seeing some questions that were submitted actually in advance by people who were really interested. So how did the global 3D printing community help improve the device? Was there some kind of feedback loop with the community?
Yes. This is the email ventilator I sent in 2017, and I thought this is the really simple design, so nobody mistake with this device. But it doesn't, because it's sometimes complicated which side is the bottom or top, or the filament spring, which side is bottom or top. So I'm with many feedbacks, we changed the design. So this diagram, I made the instruction manual. So nobody did the mistake, because manual is here, and the patient side is this, and outside is this. So this design is made by the many 3D printing partners' feedbacks.
That's nice. While you have the device in your hand, to see it a bit better from the video, can you show us exactly how do you adjust the pressure?
Hi. This is modified APL valve. It is including the conventional anesthesia machine. It's a pressure limiting valve. The handle, squeezing handle, adjusting, giving more pressure to the patient. And if we release the pressure, just opposite side, like that. And if we have the manometer, we can know that exactly the pressure. But if we don't have it, it's okay, because just watching the patient pressure by the chest motion. So if we want to give more pressure, just adjusting like this.
Okay. So another question we have is, so you showed us in the video how to recycle a device into transforming it in kind of plastic. And how long does it take approximately to make a new device from an old one?
Yeah, I'm trying now, and I have the 3D printing device recycler. So first we have to crushing to to the powder, then we have to make the good quality powder, because the material, if the material is not good quality, we cannot produce the good quality filament, because the filament has to be the diameter within 1.75 millimeter. But the material is not good quality. It's a crushed material. But we have to remove the dust before to make the filament. So I think I have to make the perfect manual to make the good quality filament, and I'm trying now. It takes a long time, but in space we don't have any choice, because there no other equipment, and so we have to solve it by the filament in 3D printing.
Okay, we have like around 2 minutes left, so I will go with, there is a quite technical question from Mr. K, who was one of our subject matter experts yesterday, and who asked, can a large medical device, GMP plastic injection molding company, can help your effort?
I hope so. One of the company, together we developed a device together. So this company in Japan will producing my ventilator plastic molding injection model in Japan. But in the future, I have the many other inventions, 14 more inventions. So only one company cannot build everything, so I need more partners. So please introducing me many companies who wants to collaborate with me.
Okay, we will definitely connect you. And the final technical question, maybe answering in like 1 minute and then we'll close the session, is a 3D printed product has a thin layer of skin. Does it affect the friction seriously? And is it okay to use without a specific processing, like sanding? Can you print and use directly, or do you need some processing?
Does it mean the bacteria?
No, the issue was the person is explaining that 3D printed product has a thin layered skin. And so do you need to remove the kind of surface skin of the printing device?
I see. Our design completely, we don't need pillar, you know. I think every product, 3D printing product, has to be made with the pillar. And after print, we have to remove everything. But our design is completely non-need pillar design. So just set the data and then push the button to start. That's all.
Oh, that's wonderful.
That makes more smooth, good design. And in non-gravity situation, if we remove the surface to, you know, the dust will flow in the air, and this dust it's harmful for the astronauts. So this bad design not allowed in the space. So we improved the perfect design.
That's great. Okay, thank you very much. There are many other questions that we will not have time to answer right now, so we will find a way to save them and share them with you. So if you have some time in the coming weeks, just answer a few sentences for each of them, and we will share with the delegates. So once more,
Yeah.
Dr. Ishikita, thank you very much for this presentation. It's really amazing technology with great impact. And we hope 14 inventions are just the beginning and you will have many more in the future. So good luck with that and thank you again.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so we'll now close the session and move to the next session that is the space trivia.